Hello, beautiful souls, and thanks so much for tuning in again. I am Astar, and welcome to 𝑇auRStar. So, today we're going to be channeling messages from OSIRIS. And the intention of this reading is basically to, channel any messages from the cosmic energy of OSIRIS, but at the same time with the intention to get to know that specific cosmic energy. Because when I do these types of readings, for example, I've did messages from 𝑇A, messages from Isis, I'm actually channeling that specific cosmic energy. And that can be more than just OSIRIS. Because when I've been channeling about 𝑇A, it's not only the Kemetic deity of 𝑇A, but it's also Poseidon and Odin. It's like all these different aspects. And in this reading specifically, we are channeling the cosmic energy of OSIRIS, again with the intention to get to know that specific cosmic energy, so that we know when to connect with it, when to work with it, maybe even how to work with it. So I really would like to open the space to allow OSIRIS to channel through me. And yes, without further ado, let's get in. As you can see, we have 3 piles to choose from today. And use your intuition to see whichever pile has a message for you today. And if you would like to learn more about OSIRIS specifically, you can also look at all the 3 piles. These are more like general readings and collective readings. So there is definitely a message for everyone in each of the piles. But at the same time, also know that it's a general reading. So please take what resonates and leave what doesn't. So see which pile you are most drawn to. You find the timestamps in the description box, and I'm going to be seeing you in your reading. Hello, beautiful soul. So this is your reading if you have chosen pile number 1. And again, today we are going to be channeling messages from the cosmic energy of OSIRIS. And we're taking a look at this together right now. Okay. We have the Earth Angel. And it says kindness, sensitivity is strength, higher perspective and divine abilities. Okay. So the first thing that comes up is actually this higher perspective, but also divine abilities, because OSIRIS, that's actually the energy of OSIRIS is the energy of our higher self. So when we talk about OSIRIS, we're really talking about the most evolved version of ourselves. But at the same time, that most evolved version is actually the eternal spark of source that lies within our heart. So it's basically our soul, but it's not just our individual soul, but it's actually the soul of source, basically. And since it's talking about higher perspective and divine abilities, I'm really strongly being made to feel that the message has to do with soul embodiment or higher self embodiment. And it was actually just the other day, I think it was 2 days ago, when I had this super intense purging going on. I mean, it's actually all the time. I don't know if you're also going through these energetic shifts, and definitely ascension symptoms or like clearing, purging, like we're all going through it. There are various degrees, but especially in this period right now when I'm recording this, it's absolutely insane, the intensity of the energies. But for the first time, I actually felt what is happening. Like, I mean, I knew it all the time. It's happening for the awakening of consciousness, for us to embody a higher vibration, for us to embody more divine love. But this specific meditation a few days ago, I really felt what it means to embody more of our higher self. And this is exactly what is happening right now. So basically, it's so much more light information that is being channeled into our vessel. And this is why it's so intense, because many of you might be feeling physical symptoms, maybe a lot of fatigue, a lot of ringing in the ears, a lot of maybe even pain and purging and deep emotions, and everything is very intense. That's what I want to say. But what is happening is, again, that this wisdom and these codes, they are being funneled into this physical body. And that's why it's so intense, because it's so much more light information that it's almost, the physical body has to transform from the inside out. And this is where this intensity lies, because it's almost like a high frequency trying to push its way through a more lower frequency. And this is this intense process. But with the Earth Angel coming through, it's actually letting us know, what this whole process is about. It's about higher self-embodiment, because the Earth Angel is an angel on Earth. And this is exactly what it is like when we understand that we are our soul, when we understand that we are our higher self on Earth, then we are an Earth Angel. And this is actually what is happening right now on a collective level. And that's why we also have the color green here. And green is very much connected with Osiris. And in the symbolism, the symbology of Osiris, the color green is exactly representing this notion of rebirth, the rebirth of our spiritual energy, the revitalization of who we are. It's basically, it's very much also connected with the story of Jesus, where the death of Jesus is not the actual death, but it's almost this ego death, or it's this death of the lower self, so that the higher self can be reborn. And actually the story of Osiris is where the story of Christ is coming from. It's a later version that has been adapted and changed, but the actual story, what the actual story wants to tell us, it's connected with the myth of Osiris. And it's this notion, again, of the rebirth. And then the star that is being reborn, the actual Earth Angel, would then be Horus. Because in the story, when Osiris dies, then Osiris is the king of the underworld. And this is because our higher self, our most evolved self, like the blueprint of what that is still stored in the underworld. Because it's not possible to embody the entirety of our higher self and our soul in this body. It's always just a degree of it. Like, it's not possible, otherwise our physical body would like explode and dissolve into light, or just disintegrate into pure light that is too subtle to have form. But the thing that is being reborn, that is Horus, and that is the Earth Angel, because Horus is basically the enlightened being on Earth that is embodying the perspective that Horus is the higher self. And this is what is happening on a collective level. Like, we are understanding that we are our soul, and we are grounding more of that soul into this vessel. So that means we might start to remember our past lifetimes. We might start to activate our spiritual gifts. We might have, many things changing, like not just physically, but spiritually, emotionally, mentally. It's like a full, complete change. And this is very much the process. And this is the spiritual rebirth. And this is the activation of our divine abilities that comes through this higher perspective. And right now, also the message coming through, it's saying sensitivity is strength. And basically what's happening is that we are becoming more sensitive. Because the more sensitive we are, the easier we can channel information or feel into, like, our empathic abilities are also tied to our sensitivity. Like the deeper we can sense something, the more we can also experience life. It's like adding depth to our experience. It's not only about being a spiritual warrior and liberating karma. It's like, actually the biggest reason why this is happening, it's allowing us to have a deeper experience of life. And that's why it also says kindness, in a sense it's coming through as this gentle energy where we just want to be kind to ourselves and to flow with this process. And but Osiris is actually coming through to help us understand what is happening. So maybe some of you might be thinking, why are the energies so intense? What is happening with my body? Why am I feeling all over the place? It's actually more so coming through as a more so a gentle reminder that the blessings that are coming as a result after this process will be much grander and much bigger than what we are going through right now. Because as we're going through this aligning, purging, activating, like again, it's super intense, but I'm really being taken to these sparks and these sparkles, these flowers, like, yeah, the energy is coming through as the blessings that are gonna be coming as a result of this. They're just unimaginable. And it's about 4, so 4 is talking about the grounding of that. So right now we are literally being prepared to ground that soul reality in this vessel, basically. And that's why these changes have to happen. There is no way around it, because if we are not aligning our vessel to that frequency, then the experiences of that frequency, they cannot be in our reality. And that's why actually we're just being aligned to receive exactly what we have been asking for. And that's why it's safe to let go and trust and surrender, because we are just where we need to be. And that's why it's important to be kind to ourselves and not stress ourselves to maybe be somewhere where we are not yet, or like to not trying to push things or force things to happen, knowing that you're just where you need to be and you are in the process of growing your wings, of being an angel on earth, of being Horus, of being Christ, of being the enlightened source spark on earth. Very powerful energy already. So let's see what the cards have to tell us. We are channeling messages from OSIRIS. And we have the 7 of Cups. Yes, that's exactly talking about this big release happening. 3 of Coins. 6 of Cups. The Queen of Wands. Yeah, beautiful. Love the energy. 3 of Swords. Yeah, that's the confirmation of that. Then we have the Tower. Okay. 9 of Swords. And the Hanged Man. Okay, definitely. So some of you might definitely be going through, I wouldn't say a bumpy phase, but actually, yes, what I'm being told is that all the energies that are not in alignment with you embodying the Queen of Wands, they are being cleared out right now. But it's actually a very similar message to, I think, the last reading that I did about the underworld. So maybe there are some messages for you in there as well, if you feel drawn to that reading. But it's again, this energy of allowing the tower to fall so that we can embody this energy of the Queen of Wands, so that we can embody our light, but in a way where it's, again, super effortless, almost as if we would be dancing through life. And obviously, if there are still fears in our field, where we might think we need to be in work mode all the time, then even if there are days when we are embodying this energy, when we are dancing, or when we are, let's say, more peaceful, then maybe there are still these thoughts, oh, how long is this happiness gonna last? Or when is the next challenge gonna come? Or when is this? There is something where mental energy is in the way, or is being cleared out right now, so that you can embody this graceful presence. And this is actually, now I'm again being taken back to the story of OSIRIS. For some reason I'm being taken to the story of the Amduat. And that's basically the story where the sun is, when the sun is setting, the ancient Egyptians believed that the sun was traveling through the underworld. Like, obviously, yes, it's just because it's below the horizon, the sun is still physically there. But since we can't see it from that, like when it's night, basically, the Egyptians believe that the sun is resting in the underworld. And there are these 12 phases, so the 12 hours of the night, where the sun has to go through different steps in order to be reborn in the morning, so that a new day can start. And this is not only a 24 hours day, but this sun cycle is actually the analogy of, yes, rebirthing ourselves, rebirthing the sun. So there is definitely also something about cycles. So there is the cycle, a circle again. And this is actually very much what Osiris is representing. Osiris is actually the eternal cycle of death and rebirth. It's the eternal light that never dies, but it's this constant transformation, this constant transmutation, and change is the only constant. And that's why the eternal light is eternal in itself, but it is constantly being changed and rebirthed in this eternal cycle of death and rebirth. And that's why I'm strongly being taken to this idea of ego death. Like right now, you're literally letting go of this old aspect of yourself that has tied, like this old aspect is more so coming through as outdated belief systems that almost didn't allow you to be peaceful. Because with this, I'm really strongly being taken to the energy of a Buddhist monk. So almost this feeling of you wanting to meditate, you wanting to be peaceful, but then a conflicting thought comes in and like brings an anxiety in, or like it's almost, yeah, this energy. What is being cleared out right now are all the beliefs and emotions and feelings and thought patterns that were keeping you from being at ease and peaceful. And that's why it might feel like a little bit of a bumpy road for some, maybe some purging in the heart space, some releasing of also how to collaborate with others. Some of you might be coming out of a phase of maybe isolation, where maybe you had to build up walls in order to protect your heart, but this is no longer serving you. This period has been serving you in the earlier part of your life, where you have been connecting with maybe past life traumas, past life, like the message coming through, maybe you were in a period of isolation where you needed to build a wall around your heart in order to tune inward and in order to see where these specific triggers come from. And I'm more so being made to feel that you have done that work, because this is in the past, and right now is actually the moment where the energy is leaving your field. And what is happening is that this tower is falling away. That's why for some of you it might be feeling right now like chaos or bumpy energy. But again, this is happening so that peace can be restored. We also have the Owl of Peace. And this is the star of Osiris, basically. No matter how dark the night is, no matter how many stages the sun has to go through in the underworld, the sun is always being rebirthed. And this is actually the story of the Amduat, of the sun traveling through the underworld, is also an analogy of life itself, an analogy of the story of our soul. Like the sun has to set in order to be reborn. In order for that to be a cycle, there has to be darkness. There has to be this, let's say, more challenging experiences, because otherwise we would not know what it means to be a sun. Otherwise we would not know what it means to be reborn as the sun. And that's why it's almost this message coming through to allow the cycle to unfold as it is, allowing things to flow as they are, because with the Hanged Man, there is this feeling of surrendering to the light, surrendering to the process of our soul, like surrendering to that eternal cycle. Like we cannot really influence it in the way we would like it to be, because there is a strong element of ego death also coming through. Maybe some of you are wanting to push through certain things, but with the Six of Cups there is this energy of connecting with the inner child, taking things slow, allowing things to unfold, because ultimately what we're manifesting is peace and us being in our power in a very peaceful way. But yeah, interesting message, interesting energy. I'm feeling called to pull some oracle cards, see if there are any other messages from Osiris. What do we need to know right now? Any messages from Osiris? So, we have multidimensional, yes, really doesn't shock me that this is coming up. Then we have the Lemurian guide. Yes, inner child attunement, that's definitely the confirmation of that. And we have healing, gentleness of love, realignment, transformation. All right. Interesting energy. So yes, with multidimensional, I'm definitely being taken back to this energy of the Earth Angel, where Osiris is reminding us that again we were meant to go through this more challenging energy, because with this I'm really being taken to past life trauma, in the sense of also collective trauma, where maybe a lot of bias that has to do with witchcraft or us hiding our power. Basically every thought pattern or belief system that has been keeping us from shining our light, embodying our magical abilities, being that light, embodying our soul. But again, I keep on being taken back to that story of the underworld, of the Amduat, where this is a crucial part, like experiencing the darker side of creation, let's say, is what actually allows the light to be there in the first place. Otherwise it would only be light, otherwise it would only be love. And there is something about adding layers, and that's why it's multidimensionality coming through, like adding layers to who we are, adding these new aspects of who we are. And it's very beautiful. It's the first time I'm seeing this. This to me looks like a cat. I mean, obviously 2 eyes, the nose and here, and I'm being told that this is this cat. So what is happening with this multidimensionality, with this grounding of more of who we are, higher self-embodiment, it's actually helping us to also be more confident. Because confident in shining our light, confident in being authentically ourselves, confident not in the way where we are putting ourselves above anyone else or below or anything, but it has to do with adding new layers of who we are. And this is very much, it's 4-4. So some of you are definitely seeing 4-4-4 or 4-4, but it's again this energy of grounding that new reality. And with the confidence coming through, like when we remember that, I don't know, in a past lifetime we have been a wizard or we have been a high priest and we have so much wisdom, so much knowledge, like when we remember these aspects of ourselves, then we can embody that wisdom and that experience in the here and in the now. And this is what, I think my neighbor is making noises. And this is exactly what is happening. Like it's this embodiment of these multidimensional aspects of who we are. And with the Lemurian guide, it's actually that centering the reading. So some of you are definitely being prepared to step into the role of a mentor, of a teacher, because it says teacher of infinite and universal love. And that's why there is this intensity of energy. And that's why maybe you're experiencing chaos right now. But again, it's a reminder that you're just being prepared for exactly what it is that you have been asking for. And that's why inner child attunement is also coming through. Because right now you're almost being called to call in your inner child and literally ask them what they would like to do. Like, what would your inner child do in these situations? If there would be absolutely no worries, no anxiety, no fear, no concerns, how would you act? How would you want to live your life if you knew that everything was working out in the best possible way? How would you act? Because there is also a feeling of the Divine Mother has our back. This reminds me of this. I think it's even the same symbol. So the Divine Mother has our back and she is bringing all these blessings into our life. And funnily enough, these blessings are, let's say, of our own making, because we are choosing better for ourselves. When we choose to embody more of our multidimensionality. When we choose to authentically express our light, then this is what is coming out of our hands. And with the hands, I am strongly being taken to the Ka, which is the spirit energy. It's actually the spirit energy that is being used through our actions. So through our actions, we are bringing in the blessings that the universe has in store for us. But that means that obviously we need to act. So we cannot stay stagnant and completely be too feminine, let's say, too receiving. Although we have the Hanged Man, but the Hanged Man is more so coming through as a choice. Like, what would you choose if you were fully connected with your inner cosmic child? And when I say the inner cosmic child, it's like not just the inner child of this lifetime, but it's literally OSIRIS, the inner cosmic child in the sense, or Horus, like, what would you do if you knew you were eternal? What would you do if you knew that there were infinite possibilities? What would you do if you knew that the Divine Mother is blessing you beyond your wildest imagination? Like, it's really about acting with that fierceness, but again, a fierceness that more so comes from the confidence and the realization, the embodiment of being a multidimensional being. And this is exactly the process. Like, we also have the dolphin coming through. Definitely the energy of bringing in more playfulness, bringing in our wisdom, but in a way that feels in alignment with our inner child, but also in alignment with who we are at our core. Because we want to live our life based on the knowingness that we are a divine being. So it's really about choosing empowered choices, acting out of a place of empowerment. And that's why if we act from that place, like if we know that the universe has our back, and if we know that there are unlimited possibilities, if we choose to open ourselves up to that, then so it is. And this is how healing can take place, but it's coming through as a healing through joy. Because this here is healing through pain. But again, the sun needs to go through the underworld. The night needs to be there in order for the sun to be reborn. And this is this cycle of creation. But again, we have gone through the night, and now it's the time to rebirth the sun. And with healing coming through, like, that's the healing that we experience out of being connected with our soul. Because we have the sun here, and it's talking about, yes, this higher self embodiment. Because healing is not just healing in the sense of purging and releasing, but healing is also experiencing, having an experience of life. And what is happening right now is that the universal forces and OSIRIS, your spirit guides, the Divine Mother, are helping you embody that light, that multidimensional higher self perspective, so that you can have a full and enriching experience of what it means to be alive, literally being an earth angel here on earth, and knowing that it's everything is already set out. You have the divine guidance. For those of you who have been seeing 4-4, this is a confirmation, or 4-4-4. Also 3 is coming through. Maybe some of you have been seeing 33, which is also mastering your shadows. So it's almost this feeling of you're right now in this moment where you say no more. No more fears, no more doubts, no more anxieties. I am gently but firmly pushing them away and saying, I choose ultimate empowerment, but gentle empowerment, gentleness of love, gentle confidence, humbleness. Because being confident and shining our light while still being humble, that is the ultimate mastery. Because when we shine our light, we never want to forget that the light that we are shining is the light of the divine. And that's why when we are able to be a radiant sun, a radiant star, literally an angel on earth, the enlightened Horus, the enlightened Christ, the enlightened Buddha on earth, while still knowing that this light that we are shining comes from source, that is the ultimate mastery. That is self-mastery, because that means we can proudly embody our light while still being open-hearted and still seeing everything as source. And this is exactly what is happening right now. So you're definitely meant to be some sort of a master healer, teacher, in no matter what you're doing, but it's very much about embodying that energy. So it's not so much about the actions, even if I have been talking about the actions, but it's more so acting like when we are in alignment. And here it talks about realignment, like when we are in alignment with that truth that we are eternal children of source, then there is no need of like acting, like forcing ourselves to act, like it's happening on its own accord. Again, it's almost a divine mother then acting through us to bring in all these blessings. And that's why we want to attune with our inner child. But again, not just the inner child of this lifetime, but the eternal cosmic child, where we know that we are a spark of source, basically. Very, very beautiful energy, beautiful process. So this is your message for today. I really hope you resonated with the messages. Please let me know in the comments if you did. And also, if you would like to learn more about OSIRIS, you can stay tuned for the next piles. And if you think that this was your message for today, thanks so much for tuning in. And I'm sending you all of my love, all of my blessings. And I hope to see you in the next reading. Bye-bye. Hello, pile number 2. So this is your reading if you have chosen pile number 2. So we're going to take a look at this card right now. And we are channeling messages from OSIRIS. So let's see. And we have travel. Ooh, okay. Inner and outer journeys, believe in yourself, and big shifts. Okay, definitely. I'm being made to feel this is a continuation from pile number 1, if you came from there. But yeah, I'm actually being taken to the energy of the underworld, because OSIRIS is the guide of the underworld. So it's basically that blueprint of our soul's history that is stored in, let's say, the Akashic records. Because the Akashic records, they are also stored in the underworld. It's basically this energetic blueprint of not only our soul's history or our soul's experiences, but of all the soul's experiences. Because in the end, all souls are connected to the one cosmic universal soul of source. And OSIRIS is very much coming through to help us get to know these different aspects. Because with travel, inner and outer travel, it's more so coming through as the energy where we can call in OSIRIS if we would like to explore the inner realms on a deeper level. But we can, because again, OSIRIS is the guide of the underworld. But we can also call in OSIRIS in order to make the necessary changes and shifts so that we can move forward, let's say, in the physical realm. Because if you come from pile number 1, we have been talking about higher self-embodiment, activating our divine abilities, actually very much living life from a state of consciousness where we know that we are eternal souls. And that's why, in order to have, let's say, the most empowering and enriching experience in life, internally and externally, it's OSIRIS coming to remind us of who we are, remind us that actually we are OSIRIS, that OSIRIS is not separate from us, but all these aspects, they are analogies of our divine power, of our innate abilities. And OSIRIS is coming through to give us clarity. I'm being taken to this crystal ball, and the cosmic dragon is coming through as Thoth. So it's the cosmic intelligence, the universal energies, the universal consciousness, basically, bringing in the clarity of who we are, basically. But it also says, believe in yourself. Like, the more we believe and the more we embody this state of consciousness that we are an eternal soul, the more alive, the more we are living life from this from an empowered state, where we understand that we are dragons, basically. And when I say dragons, then It's this sacred union of heaven and earth, the sacred union of feminine and masculine. Like, this is ultimate empowerment that comes as a result of the awakening of consciousness. And that comes by actually understanding that the inner and the outer is one and the same. Because I'm also being taken to the infinity symbol here with the number 8. It's understanding that the physical crystal world and the invisible spirit world, they are a mirror of each other. So when we want to have shifts in the outer world, it's not so much about taking action in the outer world, but it's more so about reconnecting with our innate power. And this is where OSIRIS is coming through, where literally we can call in OSIRIS to help us reconnect with this, let's say, inner strength, or this, yes, getting to know the different aspects of who we are. Beautiful energy. So let's see what the cards have to say. Again, we are channeling messages from OSIRIS. And we have, okay, wish fulfillment for some of you. Definitely, but we see what this is about. Okay, yes, I love it. Ace of Scepters, a new beginning. A wish fulfillment that is the new beginning you have been waiting for. Very strong message here. Yes, Princess of Swords, letting go of the past. 8 of Cups, releasing old stories. 9 of Pentacles, beautiful. With the 9 of Cups, so definitely you are... I lay the cards first and then I get in. Page of Coins. Look how the cards are coming up. It's very synchronistic. Okay, Empress and the 5 of Swords. Okay. So definitely some of you are manifesting the circumstances where you are independent. This can be financially independent. This can be just having more stability in life. Okay, and now now the message is coming through, like OSIRIS is also the nature of stability. Because with the Ace of Scepters, I'm strongly being taken to the jet pillar. And this is actually what OSIRIS is. It's the axis mundi, it's our spine, the jet pillar, the eye of consciousness, the eye in the sense, the eyes that see, but also the eye of I am. And that is the jet pillar. And that is the eye that always is. That is the connection between the 3 realms of creation. That is us at the center of the universe. That is everything that is eternal, everything that is constant. And OSIRIS is this representation of that stability, that everything is eternal. And this is basically like fire. And then obviously fire goes through phases, because OSIRIS is not only the jet, the light, the pole at the center, the divine masculine energy, the phallus, the spine, the column, like the pole. There are many ways on how to look at this energy. But OSIRIS is also the cycle around it, or actually it's the stability and the continuity of each cycle. So it's actually the pole in the middle, experiencing the cycle that revolves around it. And that's basically our soul, that's our higher self. Like when we understand that we are the center of the universe, when we understand that we are the one eye of consciousness, when we understand that we are the jet pillar connecting the 3 realms of creation, like when we embody that state of consciousness, then yes, our experience of life changes completely. Because it's again this energy of reconnecting with our inner child and moving throughout life in the way we were always meant to be. So if you come from pile number 1, we have been talking about first going through darkness and challenging experiences that almost prepare us for the life that we have been asking for. So it's this story that we need to go through the darkness first before we can really appreciate or understand what it means to be the sun. And that's why it's coming through as this energy of right now you're being aligned with this energy of the 9 of coins. But also, yes, this wish fulfillment, like something is going to shift in your reality that will bring in the circumstances that you have been manifesting, basically. Like whatever you have been focusing on, whatever you have been trying to manifest or bring into your reality is coming through. But the gateway to bring this through is understanding this aspect, understanding that there will always be a new beginning. No matter how dark the night is, no matter how challenging the experiences in your life might have been, the sun is always being reborn. The fire is destruction, but it's also rebirth. But it's actually this eternal cycle, like when is destruction creation and when is creation destruction. Like it's almost this, the snake eating its own tail, but the moment where the snake bites the tail, it's like always, like it's eternal. Like we cannot really, it's not about when or how, but it's knowing that the new beginning is always going to take place, because this is the only constant. Actually, change is the only constant. And it's not so much about when our dreams will manifest or when this new chapter of our life will be ignited. It's just knowing that it is meant to be, knowing that your dreams and your manifestations, they are already yours, because they already exist within yourself, in your inner environment. And what is happening, you're bringing it in the physical by understanding that the inner environment and the outer environment are the same. So there is definitely something about manifestation and approaching it in a very light-hearted way, where it's almost like, obviously I know I am the magician, I know I am the center of the universe, I know that I am the eternal spark of source. So obviously everything I'm trying to manifest is manifesting, because we are manifesting it. Because when we are focusing on embodying this reality, the first step is maybe creating the mental image. Which life would we like to live? Like how does it look like? What are we doing? What is maybe the environment? And we start by creating the mental image of what it is that we are wanting to experience. That is the first step, creating the blueprint, almost creating the DNA of what it is that we are wanting to manifest. And this obviously happens in the inner world. This is happening with the power of thought, which is also connected to Thoth. This is where the cosmic dragon comes in. And then the second step is actually about embodying that vibration, embodying that frequency with the Empress. So the first step is knowing what we want, and then it's about feeling exactly that feeling that we're wanting to experience, like embodying it on an emotional level. And when we have embodied it mentally and emotionally, then the next step, it has to manifest physically. Like there is literally no other way, because again, this is how we are manifesting our life. We are the creators of our life. It's not our spirit guides or source doing the things for us. They are doing the things through us, but we have a say in the play. We are the children playing in the playground. And that's why when we decide to have that golden nugget, then so it is. And again, it has to manifest, because we are birthing it into creation with the power of our inner fire, basically, with the power of our inner light. And there is something about cycles coming through, because again, Osiris represents these cycles, but Osiris is very much coming through to remind us that there will always be a new beginning and nothing lasts forever. So some of you are definitely letting go of a lot of karmic energies, almost this feeling that it's never gonna end. When is it ever gonna stop? When is it ever, like when are we finally done with releasing and purging? But it's almost about understanding that it is already done. Like we don't actually have to heal more, because there is always more to heal. And that's why it's coming up in this position. Like it's actually very much about saying, you know what? I have healed enough. I have done enough. Because we always have been worthy of what it is that we are wanting to manifest. We always have been worthy of abundance. We always have been worthy of love. And there has to be some point where we say, you know what? I don't have to heal anything else because I always have been worthy. I always am worthy. And that's why it's almost about detaching ourselves a little bit from needing to purge or needing to heal before we are able to bring in this energy. Like, abundance is our birthright, happiness is our birthright, love is our birthright, and it is very much about almost handing the wand over to Source and allowing the magic again to happen through us. But knowing that, yeah, you are ready for whatever you have been asking for, and there is no need for you to heal anything else in order for you to have it. Some of you might be manifesting financial abundance, or maybe a relationship, or maybe just happiness in general. Like, the way to get there is not through healing, but the way to get there is actually knowing that it is already yours, that it is already here. Because again, the snake eating its own tail, it's not about when is the snake biting. Actually, it's like this endless cycle. Like, it's almost about understanding that, yes, divine timing, but when we know that everything is eternal anyway, like it's very much about aligning with that energy internally, and this is then what allows it to be birthed into creation in the outside world. But again, remembering that the inside and the outside, they are mirrors of each other. So instead of focusing on bringing things in the outside world, realizing our inner power and our inner fire to bring it in right now by embodying the energy and the feeling. First creating the mental picture, then embodying it emotionally, and once it's embodied emotionally, then it has to manifest physically. Like, there is literally no other way, because we are creating our reality. So it's very much Osiris coming through to remind us of our power as creator beings, and reminding us about the eternity, but at the same time knowing that there is something about past energy, something again about the Ouroboros, like the snake biting its own tail. Before I continue, I'm being called to pull some oracle cards. We see what this is about. But there is definitely something about divine timing, like trusting the timing of the cycles in your life. It's a strong message. There is a time for everything. Okay, we have flow. Okay, beautiful. And I'm actually gonna place this in the middle because this is very much a confirmation. Release control, divine will, and oceanic consciousness. Okay, I'll get to this in a moment. I'll pull some more cards. Okay, what do we have? Peace beyond survival. Then we have elders. One more. Okay. Oh, love it. Love this, absolutely. Stepping stones. Okay. Take the next step. Let go of the old paradigm. Okay. So definitely. The first thing coming through with this one is with oceanic consciousness. It's again the confirmation that everything we are trying to manifest already exists as a potential in this ocean of consciousness. And this is where the energy of the underworld comes through. And that's why we want to call in Osiris. And when I say we want to call in Osiris, it's basically another way of saying connecting with our higher self. We can connect with our higher self, with our eternal aspect, to get to know, like understanding what the ocean of consciousness actually is, understanding that all of our thoughts and manifestations exist as a potential in this ocean of consciousness. And what we are doing is we are taking action with our creative fire to bring it into fruition. But it happens in flow. It happens not from an ego-based consciousness, not from an ego-based perspective where we need to fight our way through in order to get there. And it's very much about creating the image, telling the universe what it is that we're wanting to create, and then just releasing and allowing it to flow through. Because that is actually abundance, like understanding that everything is already here. Everything we are trying to manifest is already there. And when we understand that, this is when it then can be birthed into creation. But with the peace beyond survival, it's actually, yes, knowing that we don't have to fight in order to get things done. Knowing that we don't have to fight in order to initiate the spark. Because again, when we have taken our first breath, then it's not the ego that made that first breath breathe. Wait, okay. I'm trying to find the words to explain what I'm feeling. So, when we have decided to come into this life, then it's not our 1 minute old self deciding, oh, I want to be on earth. It's actually our higher self taking care of that. And then we move on in life thinking that we need to be in charge of this life. But it's actually about knowing that we have come into this life with divine guidance. We live this life with divine guidance, and we leave this life with divine guidance. And it comes from our higher self. It doesn't come from the ego. And that's why we don't need to be in control all the time. Because again, our soul has decided for us to be here, not a 1 minute old baby. Like it's actually about detaching ourselves a little bit from our human self, let's say, and acting from that state of consciousness that we are our higher self. And this is what opens up everything. Like with flow, it's like a flow of abundance, flow of your manifestations coming in, also flow of joy and happiness, just the flow in general, like we're wanting to go with the flow instead of swimming against the currents. And for some of you, I'm being made to feel that right now you're in this phase where maybe there is some reviewing going on, maybe you're in this phase where, yes, actually the message is that right now you might feel like you're in the middle of it, in the middle in the sense where one foot is in the past energy and one foot is in the new energy. And this is for a very specific reason, like the flow has not been stopped, let's say, in order to keep things away from you. But it's almost about, yes, there is something about, it's actually changing the perspective from the universe is holding something back, or the universe is putting a roadblock, to understanding why this roadblock is here in the first place. Like the reason the flow is disrupted is not so that the blessings are being withheld from you, but it's actually about surrendering, like you're learning to surrender. And that's why all of this had to happen. That's why maybe you're going through an ego death, because before the ego is not, let's say, obviously the ego is never truly that because we need the ego to navigate this life, but it's about not allowing the ego to interfere with the flow of abundance that is wanting to come through. And that's why certain blocks have been put on your path, in order to almost prevent you to act in a way that is out of alignment with who you are. And that's the message coming through with this one. It's almost about, yes, if, let's say, there were no roadblocks, maybe you would have acted in a way where you would be on your own, or like without the divine guidance. Or this is the energy of, I'm doing it my way. I'm doing whatever I want, and it's gonna be exactly how I want it to be. But obviously the universe says, because we have something which is much better for you. And that's why in these situations, the universe might bring in blocks, but these blocks are here so that this flow of abundance can come. And that's why some of you maybe are frustrated because you feel like, oh my God, it's never ending. or it's not getting anywhere, or I'm not there where I want to be. But it's actually knowing that, yeah, with stepping stones, everything that is happening in your life is here so that you are receiving exactly what you have been asking for, and much, much more. And this is why sometimes the flow is being disrupted, or this is why sometimes we have the feeling that there are like rocks in the way blocking the flow of water, happiness, love, joy, abundance. It's because we are being aligned with a higher reality. And with the elders coming through, some of you definitely are spiritual, meant to be some spiritual teachers, spiritual mentors, but this is more so coming through as all these perceived setbacks and roadblocks. They were here to gain wisdom, to gain mastery, to gain knowledge, so that you can help other people who might be going through the same process. So you're very much coming through as a very abundant soul. With the Empress, obviously, and also with the Princess of Swords, it's very much something about remember who you are. Look within to reconnect with the power and the abundance that lies within yourself, the wisdom that lies within yourself. And that's why maybe there has been this pause in your life where you felt that the flow was being obstructed, because yeah, it's about reconnecting with that aspect, that eternal aspect, before you can move forward. And again, when you have embodied that power, when you have realized that you are this eternal, infinite being, this is very much the going on a journey, and this is very much, let's say, the destination where you then come back with all the wisdom gathered. Like the starting of the journey and the realization of who you are, it's still always infinite. Like you always have been the person you try to be. Like you always are an infinite soul. You always are your higher self, and it's not so much about the when and how, but it has more so to do with understanding who we are, understanding the entirety of who we are. And it's not even so much about what we are doing. Maybe with the elders, some of you might be thinking, I need to teach a big mass of people, or I need to write so many books, or I need to do all these things in order to help the collective. But this is not true. The thing you can do to help the most is literally just understanding who you are and authentically embodying and expressing that. Authentically embodying and expressing that eternal, infinite light of your soul that you are. And that's why with stepping stones, the last message coming through is actually now is the time to move forward. So it's kind of a paradox, because the energy that I'm feeling is almost this energy of there are still so many roadblocks, nothing is moving forward, and I'm not where I want to be. But actually, we take the next step. It's like the universe, let's say, has been holding you back for quite some time, but now you have understood that there is almost no need to heal anything anymore, because there is almost this feeling of, before I can go to the next step, I still need to purge or release and heal. Or before I can go to the next step, I still need to do all these things on my own and I don't have the support. But this is the illusion that you're letting go of. Because again, if we reconnect back within, then we understand that the abundance is already ours, that the wishes are already fulfilled as a potential within ourselves. And when we know that they're already there, then we're literally just a channel to birth them into creation. And this is very much what's happening now. You're approaching a phase where everything starts to just bloom. But not just one thing, it's this thing and that thing and that thing. And you're like, oh my goodness, you look at all these lotus flowers and it's much more than you have actually prayed for. It's much more than you have been wanting to manifest. Because maybe you started this quest with wanting to find this golden nugget. And then you were for quite some time in this energy, trying to bring it in. But then you understood, you know what? I don't need to do all of this. I just need to understand that I am infinite and it is already there. And then releasing that control and allowing it to come in. And the moment we open ourselves up to receive is the moment where so much more is coming through than we have been asking for. Because what we are manifesting is maybe the purging ending, or the challenges ending, the darkness ending, maybe the depression ending, or lack of finances ending, lack of supporting relationships ending. Like maybe what you're trying to manifest is this one thing, but actually the things that are gonna come in are, it's basically the light aspect of the darkness that you have been going through. But again, the blessing is not gonna be the darkness ending, but it's the experience of the light aspect of everything that you thought was being held back from you, or like being held away from you. So it's basically opening the flow, but bringing through all the things that you always were worthy of. And the only thing that is being released is the feelings of unworthiness, or the feelings that you don't deserve. And that's why the more we connect with our inner light, also with our confidence, if you come from pile number 1, the more we realize that we deserve, the more these lotus flowers just start popping up. But yeah, again, it's in a way where it's so much more than what we have been asking for. I'm actually being called to pull some last cards, because I feel there is a message wanting to come through, but I'm kind of trying to find the words to close it off in a nice and graceful way. So we are channeling messages from OSIRIS. What else do we have? Okay, success, definitely. Oh, I love it. Okay, definitely for some of you, maybe there are some messages in pile number 1 as well, because the Queen of Wands has been coming up. Okay, it's more so coming through as a clarification that you are just right on track where you need to be, honoring the stepping stones, honoring the small steps that will lead you to much more than you have been asking for. And that's why certain things have been in the way. And actually these things help you find true success, where the success is not successfully manifesting the thing you want to have. Success is not that, but success is actually opening up to the infinite abundance of what the universe wants for us. And this is the energy where not only one flower is blooming, but all these other flowers. Because the universe knew that we were worthy of so much more than we have been asking for. But we were the only ones who needed to realize that. And once we do, the gates are open and more blessings can flow through. And the blessings that are flowing through are actually blessings that can only come through from this higher perspective. Like us, from our ego perspective, we would not even be able to see what is there for us. So maybe we have been asking for this one thing, looking at it from an ego perspective, thinking that this is what we're gonna get, but actually the blessings are gonna be so much more, because we are not seeing what the universe is seeing from this higher perspective. And that's why all we needed to do is basically to just open our heart. And once we have done, again, the blessings that are gonna come through are out of this world. And it's beautiful because we start with the dragon and we also finish with the dragon. So there is this energy of going on a journey within, also with the moon, getting to know our inner environment. And that's why I feel that maybe some of you have been experiencing these roadblocks. It was here about getting to know your inner environment. And then the result of it is blessings in the physical world, where we understand that we are the infinite beings. And yeah, it's about creating a bridge between the idea of what it is that we want to manifest and it actually manifesting for you. And it's reminding you of the stepping stones of getting there. You always are right on time where you are. Right now, as you're tuning into this reading, you are just exactly where you need to be to bring in your manifestations, for your wishes to be manifested, and so much more. And with this is this energy of peace, blessings. I'm seeing a sunset on a lake, and connected with all the fairies, connected with nature, literally in flow, like you're manifesting flow, ease, peace, abundance, joy, love, and you're much closer than you think. You're much closer than to experience the reality that you wanted to experience and more. So there definitely is an element of surprise, and you're being asked to take the next step, whatever that means for you. So going on that journey, traveling to that place, taking that course, taking that first step, doing it, whatever it is, do it. Whatever it's on your mind right now as I'm speaking, do it, because it will be successful. And the success is not this success, not getting these things, but again, getting so much more than you have been asking for. Absolutely beautiful energy, very, very, very abundant reading, very much, it's a blessing, that's for sure. And yeah, this was your message for today. If you would like to hear more messages from Osiris, you can stay tuned for the next pile. If you think this was your message for today, thank you so much for tuning in and watching, and I hope to see you in the next reading. Bye bye, much love. Hello, beautiful soul. So this is your reading if you have chosen pile number 3. So again, today we're going to be channeling messages from Osiris. And we're going to take a look at this card together right now. Oh, okay. We have fire and water, stillness amidst the turmoil, feel and emotional integration. Okay. So there is definitely a feeling of you're aligning to a higher timeline. And that's why right now you might feel that things are a bit chaotic, or it's almost this feeling where, because if we have to imagine when a volcano erupts, it's like magma or lava, it's a lot of heat. And when this heat then touches the water, then there is a lot of like fog, it's a lot of like heat, and it's like it takes some time for the magma or the lava to solidify and be turned into an island. And I'm being made to feel you're exactly in this process right now, where there is either an explosion of something is coming to the surface, something is being revealed, something that has maybe never been spoken before is coming out, because there is also an element with the throat chakra coming through. Maybe you're saying something that you have kept for yourself for a long time, or there is definitely this feeling of something exploding, and this is, let's say, the necessary trigger that allows this new timeline to unfold for you, or that allows you to experience a new reality. Like there is something about also creative energy, like fire and water. Actually, a message coming through that some of you might definitely be feeling the intensity of these energies right now. I don't know what's going on in this summer specifically, but literally I have been purging, healing and aligning like energetically since the last few months, like even years, like permanently without a break. And that's why, yes, whenever we feel this intensity of energies, this intensity of maybe emotions coming up, all we need to do is literally just to be in the center of our heart, being connected with our heart, because our tornado is like creating all this chaos, but the eye of the storm, that's where everything is still. So one of the reasons why there is so much turmoil and so much movement, it's actually for us to always be centered in our heart space. And this is very much where Osiris comes through, because Osiris, that is the jet pillar, that is the center, that is the eye of consciousness, that is our connection to source light, to source energy. And no matter what is happening in our life, no matter how much chaos and turmoil, if we are able to find our way back to the center, to our heart, then nothing can be in our way. And with fire and water, it's actually it's coming through as the energy of Shu and Tefnut, because Shu is the fire of creation and Tefnut is the water of creation. And this is very much yin and yang. The fire being the masculine energy, and yang, yin being the feminine, like the water. So there is definitely something about balancing the masculine and the feminine, and that's why I'm being made to feel that there is this explosion where there was an excess of something, an excess of fire, or an excess of water, in the sense of being too stagnant or like too receptive, like everywhere where there was an imbalance with the fire and the water in your life, that is being balanced so that new creations can be birthed. So it's almost this feeling where if you have been too active, then you're being called to be passive. If you have been too passive, then you're being called to be active. Like wherever you feel there is an excess, it is being balanced out right now, so that you can find your center, so that you can reconnect with that stability within, the stability. And this is where you always find stability, because when we connect to our heart, we understand that we are OSIRIS, we understand that we are an eternal, undying soul. And it's very much about connecting with our higher self, because our higher self knows the way through any why did I say integration? Yes, our higher self knows the way through any experience. But with emotional integration, yeah, it's actually right now you are integrating this state of consciousness. And that's why also, if you come from pile number 1, the reason why there is this intensity of energies right now, this chaos, is so that this new understanding can be born. But it's an understanding that goes beyond, because the energy coming through here is that when a volcano erupts in the ocean, in the midst of water, then what is being created is an island that has not been there before. So there is something about detaching ourselves from the process a little bit, like not worrying too much about maybe when the island is going to be created, or not worrying so much about what the storm is actually causing, but it's more so, let's say, a training or a drill training to be centered in the heart no matter what. And when we have done that, then something new can be birthed, but it's something new that is being birthed. That new thing can only be birthed if we are centered in our heart. So that's why instead of freaking out and focusing too much on what's happening or the chaos and the turmoil, it's very much about understanding that this is the test. It's not so much about what is happening or when it's gonna happen, or the thing is, it's not about what the storm is causing, but right now it's about connecting with our center, and this is why there is this turmoil and this chaos. It's not about the outside, let's say. It's really about connecting within. But yeah, we will see what this is about. We are channeling messages from OSIRIS. Okay, we have the 8 of Pentacles, 6 of Cups, 8 of Coins, the Fool, 4 of Swords, 9 of Pentacles, Art, okay, beautiful. And the 9 of Swords, okay, that's interesting. And I'm actually being called right now to already pull the oracles right now, which I'm gonna do. So we are channeling messages from OSIRIS. Manifest, ooh. Lemurian egg, beautiful energy. Okay, and heaven on earth, look at this. Okay, amazing. So yeah, basically OSIRIS is coming through also with a lot of greens. Like there is definitely this energy of revitalization of something, revitalizing yourself, it almost feels, because with the fire and water, I'm almost being made to feel that you are reconnecting with your creative potential. Because we have been, if we think about yin and yang, fire and water, these are the ingredients that we need in order for all creation to take place. In order for creation to be there needs to be fire and water. There needs to be the masculine seed, the masculine pillar of light, the pole in the center, and the divine feminine, which is birthing it all into creation, which is like the experience, or the wind and the storm in the middle. Yes, okay, now it's coming through. Like, it's not about the storm, it's not about the experience, it's not about what the water is. Like, it's not about the events that are taking place in your life, but it's actually about reconnecting with the inner fire. And this is where OSIRIS is coming through there. It's helping us to reconnect with our creative potential, but in a way where our manifestations are more in alignment with that state of consciousness, that we are eternal. And it's actually a very similar message from the other piles, so I'm being made to feel that there is another way of bringing this message through. But again, it's so much more a focus, even if we are talking about fire, even if we are talking about the reconnecting with that fiery aspect. It's not coming through so much as taking excessive action, because we also have the Four of Swords coming through. It's more relaxing into receiving, or the relaxation that allows us to reconnect with our toolbox, let's say, or getting to know what we have in our toolbox, getting to know our creative abilities. Like, it's very much something about, yes, I'm actually being told that a lot of you have a lot of untapped potential, because with rest and reintegration of divine potentials, that's exactly what's happening right now. So in order for this new island to be birthed, it's not so much about fighting our way through the storm, or like putting our shields off in order to withstand the force of the storm, but it's more so about resting, relaxing, connecting to the center, and from that heart-centered space, from that higher perspective, knowing exactly which action to take in order to move forward. But it's almost about, okay, now it's coming through. So basically, the reason why we had to go through this storm and through this turmoil in the first place is so that a new island can be born. Because without the eruption of a volcano in the ocean, there is no new island. So the first reason why the turmoil had to come in the first place is to bring heaven to earth, basically, or to manifest whatever you've been trying to manifest. But then the way to get there, the first trigger has already been done. The chaos had its lessons, like you have experienced the chaos and you have done that part. But now it's not so much about fighting our way through the storm, but it's actually about finding our way back to the center, where we understand that the island is already solidified, where we understand that our manifestations are already there. And that's why the best thing we can do right now is actually reconnecting with that heart-centered space and remembering our innate potential, because with the Six of Cups, there is also this energy of reconnecting back with the dreams of our childhood, or whatever we wanted to be as a child. Like that's also something I always like to ask my clients. So what did you want to be when you were a child? And reconnecting back with that dream, almost. Like in my case, I wanted to be an astronaut, obviously, because I wanted to be in space and not on Earth. That's why when we reconnect back with the dreams that we wanted, like our dreams when we were a child, basically, then we are understanding ourselves on a deeper level. So the reason why I wanted to be an astronaut is because I wanted to explore space, or I was always interested in the mysteries of what's beyond Earth. And that's why right now I'm channeling information from the cosmic energies or from star beings to birth it down into the Earth. But there is something about reconnecting with, yes, our wishes, whatever we wanted to be as a child, and finding the potential in that. For example, if you wanted to be an actor, what is it about being an actor that has to do with your situation right now? Or if you wanted to open a hospital, like, what does that dream has to do with this present moment? And it's about understanding that the wishes and the dreams that we have, they are here for a very specific reason, no matter in which part of our life. Then obviously there are other dreams that we then discard. So in the end, I didn't end up being an astronaut, but still that dream was somehow related to what I'm doing right now. So there is something about looking at your childhood dreams or looking at your wishes from a new perspective and almost seeing the potential in these situations, or understanding your innate potential, like almost approaching this situation from, or looking at this situation through the eyes of a child, and acting on that from that empowered state of being. Because with the 8 of coins, there is definitely the feeling of wanting to build something. Some of you are definitely manifesting something, trying to create something, or bringing something into fruition. But there is almost this feeling that, yes, alchemy is taking place. So, okay, that's a very specific message. So some of you are trying to manifest something very specifically. This can be anything. Can be a new house, aligning with your soul tribe, aligning with a soulmate, literally starting that new project, opening that school, opening the hospital. No matter what it is that you are trying to manifest, actually it's not so much about the end goal, because the actual blessing, the actual structure that you are then creating is not the finished product, is not the thing being in your life, but it's actually this whole process of alchemization and alignment that is the actual gift. Because if we think of it, when we leave this earth plane, so let's say we look at this reading from the perspective that we are an eternal soul, that we are our higher self. So what does our higher self gain from being incarnated as a human being in this lifetime? It's not so much about which legacy we leave here. It's not so much about, yes, what we're actually building. Yes, that is contributing. Let's say if we open a hospital and it's helping a lot of beings, that's amazing. If we create an artwork that is going to be remembered for centuries, then it's also amazing. Like, that's one part of it, building something. But if we look at it from this soul perspective, what are we actually taking away after we transition back out of this incarnation? What is the actual gift? What is the actual manifestation? It's the mastery of alchemizing energies. Because we as souls, we come here to master certain aspects of ourselves. And this is very much connected with understanding our potential. So this is actually also coming through, not just connecting back to our wishes from childhood, but also connecting back with the intention of why we chose to incarnate in the first place, and almost reconnecting back with that initial intention, with that initial idea, and understanding that, yes, basically we wanted to master the transmutation of energies, because maybe we have mastered it in a higher dimension, but we have never experienced it from the 3D perspective, or whatever is going on this planet right now. We can't really say, because I feel it's much more than just 3D and 5D, and it's like definitely a multidimensional process. But what we wanted to gain or learn or experience is actually using our manifestation abilities, our creative potential, and this is where fire and water comes through, but in a very unique set, with very unique experiences, or with very unique circumstances, or with very, yes, whatever we are experiencing right now, we have been asking for it. And that's why it's so important to not fight the storm, or not get frustrated, or there is something about creating, changing our perspective from creating with this energy to creating from the energy of being the Fool. So, okay, I'm trying to find the words to describe it. So, basically, when we talk about bringing our manifestations into this realm, obviously we need to use our fire and our water, the divine feminine and the divine masculine within ourselves. We need to take action, but we also need to allow things to be manifested and created on their own accord. And when we have mastered to do that, despite being in the storm, where there is a lot of chaos or a lot of turmoil, if we're able to bring the things into this realm, if we're able to bring heaven to earth, despite of everything that's going on, then this is the actual mastery. And this is the thing that our soul is then gonna take away when we leave this earth plane. Because we can say on a soul level, we have mastered our creative potential, our creative abilities, our magical abilities in this realm. We have successfully brought heaven to earth. We have successfully bridged the higher realms with this realm. We have allowed our higher self to come to earth. And maybe we have never experienced that, because maybe you are a super high vibrational soul that only has had lifetimes in higher dimensional planets. So you wanted to challenge yourself and to come here to see how that would unfold. But again, it's about detaching ourselves a little bit from actually needing to make things happen, or actually needing to build things physically, or like, obviously this is part of it, because we're also meant to build certain things for the collective that is supporting heaven to earth to take place, or for this experience to unfold. But at the same time, it's about remembering why we chose to came here on a soul level. And this is what is allowing us to create, yes, to change perspective, where with this energy we might be super anxious as to how is this gonna unfold, what do I need to do, or is it gonna take place, or a lot of thoughts and anxieties and ego-based consciousness. But if we connect with the energy of the Fool, which by the way is also connecting with the zero, connecting with 0 point, connecting with source, again connecting with the jet pillar, connecting with the state of consciousness that we as spiritual beings, our divine source light, is always pristine, is always at the center, is always unchanging. And that's why it's not so much about what we are building, how it's going to take place, what specific actions we need to do, but it's just about allowing ourselves to embody the fullness of who we are and to experience the fullness of what this life is offering us. Because again, when we leave, it's not so much about what we have gained, what we have learned, but it's about, yes, allowing ourselves to have this experience of what it means to be a creator being in this realm. It's a very specific energy, and I'm being called to pull some more cards to see which messages we have from Osiris. Okay. So, oh, love this already. More cards than planned, but we'll see what this is about. So we have the Magician, the Fool again, yes. 2 of Scepters. Oh wow. The Chariot, 2 of Swords, and the Hermit. Okay, so definitely okay, it doesn't shock me that the Chariot is coming out, because the Chariot is actually very much connected with OSIRIS. And this is more so coming through as, a little bit of a reminder what OSIRIS actually is. It's actually the jet pillar, the pole, the eye of consciousness, the tree trunk of the cosmic tree, the eternal light of source, actually the connection to source energy. So that's why when we are connected to that source energy, to that state of consciousness that we are eternal souls, then we can move forward as the Fool. Because the Fool is taking action without thinking about the outcome. They are taking action without worrying about how things are going to come to pass. Even if they are on a crossroads, even if they have to face a decision, they're like, I'm going to go this direction and I trust that I will be successful because I'm connected with Source. I'm connected with that eye of consciousness. And when we are connected with that state of consciousness, then we can move forward in a way where it's more balanced. Because the Chariot is talking about moving forward, but moving forward in a way where our higher self is balanced with our lower self, where the upper Egypt is balanced or harmonized with lower Egypt. Like, it's very much again about bridging the realms and moving forward in that way. And also knowing that there is nothing to gain, nothing to lose, because OSIRIS is the eternal light. So doesn't matter. It's very much somehow a paradox, because it's not so much about what we are creating, about the impact of the storm in our life, but it's more so about being on the Chariot while embodying this pure and pristine source energy. Instead of fighting our way through, instead of forcing ourselves to build certain things, or like being anxious about how to bring things into fruition, it's basically about understanding that on a soul level we came here to have an experience, and that's all that matters. And the light that we have been looking for was always within ourselves anyway. So it's not even about pressuring ourselves to get somewhere or to make something happen. It's knowing that it's already there. And this is very much this, I'm being taken to this DNA healing for some reason. So the healing that we are going through is almost an encoded set of experiences that our soul chose to have in this lifetime. And this is why we're here, to have this specific experience. But we're not here to reconnect with our light, because our light has always been there anyway. So it's, about empowerment, but empowerment in the sense where we understand we always have been worthy. We understand that we always have been source. We understand that we always have been balanced, actually. And it's very much about moving our way through life, letting go of every thought pattern or belief that makes us believe otherwise, that we are not source, that we are not balanced, that we are not healed. And that's why the Fool is coming up twice, because we are in the healed, we are always healed. We are always exactly where we are meant to be. And peace actually always is there, if we are able to connect to the center of the storm. I don't say that the storm is not there, and I know it's there because the energies are crazy and intense, much higher than they have ever been before, at least that's for my experience. But it's not so much about the storm itself. Again, I feel I'm repeating myself, so that's definitely the message for today. OSIRIS is coming through to remind us to be open, to be in our center in every situation in life. And this is very much what all these experiences are about, to reconnect with our power, to reconnect with the eye of consciousness, and to move forward from there. And then to just see whatever the universe has planned for us, because again, heaven to earth, we bring heaven on earth, we bring heaven to earth by allowing it to come through us. So with the Lemurian egg, it's also something about, integrating more potential, integrating this higher perspective acting without attachments, that's also a thing. And even if we are on a crossroads, knowing that we always end up where we need to be, because this is very much where we started. We started with source and we end up with source. And it doesn't matter which way we go, we always will end up where we started. Everything comes from love and everything goes back to love. And it's very much about not being too attached to the experience itself, but always being in our center and grounded in that beingness. Beautiful energy. That's the message for today. I really hope you resonated with the messages. Please let me know in the comments if you did. And I hope to see you in the next reading. Much love. Bye bye.